Morning everyone, welcome to the first Compliance Over Coffee for 2024. Where did that Christmas period go? I don't know. Anyway, Happy New Year everyone. I hope everyone had a fabulous Christmas break. This morning I wanted to talk to you, I suppose right back at the very beginning of the journey for you if you're there, about if you're planning to set up a sourcing business. And a lot of people want to set up a sourcing business because they're fed up with their jobs. They don't want to be in full-time jobs anymore. They don't want to work the 9 to 5, as I call it. They want the freedom, and it's said in a lot of stages, to do what you want, when you want, with whom you want. And that's why a lot of people want to come into property sourcing. They don't have the money to invest themselves first, but they see property investment as a way of escaping the 9 to 5. And so going to property sourcing with rose-coloured glasses, following a lot of advice, which, to be honest, isn't based on planet Earth. Now, we have been property sourcing for over 12 years. And I promise you, when I speak to you, and anything else that we do is given to you, it's the plain honest truth about how it is on the ground. So this morning I wanted to give you some ideas, if you're thinking about setting up a property sourcing business, to actually sit down with a coffee, tea or other beverage and just have a think about some of these points that I'm going to make this morning, and be honest with yourself. Most people state, when I speak to them on calls, they want to replace their income in 6 to 12 months. And some may be on £20,000, £30,000 a year. I've heard as much as £70,000 or £80,000 a year. Now, when you come and you sit back down after you've been in a room with a few hundred people jumping around and all of that energy is flowing, all of that happiness and the excitement has gone on the Monday morning, sit down and have a think about, honestly, what is possible. Remember, a lot of you will be holding down full-time jobs. Remember, a lot of you will possibly have partners, husbands, wives. You may even have children. And I know when I started on this journey, I was married, I was running the family home, I had a 10-year-old still at home with me. So I had a lot of other responsibilities and a full-time job to hold down, as well as starting a sourcing business. So I do understand the struggles that you face. So think honestly about these points. How long will it take to set up your business realistically, given how much time you've got? How long will it take for you to find an investor? How long will it take for you to get to know them, understand them, and understand exactly what it is that they want that you have to go out looking for? How long will it take for you to find the deal? How long will it take for you to get the deal over the line? Now, there's a lot of sub-thinking to all of those because of what it takes to actually achieve any of those points. So, how long will it take to set up your business? Working with us, if you've got an hour a day, about 30 days. That's how long it would take you. How long to find an investor? That's a little bit like how long is a piece of string. It depends how much effort you put into it. And a lot about business, you'll get returns based on how much effort you put into it. And I'm reading a book at the moment, and it states that you have to fulfill a lot of buckets to be successful in whatever it is that you want to do. And it's not just about property investment, it could be any business that you want to set up. And the first bucket is knowledge. And the second bucket is skill. And you have to fill these buckets in a certain order, or the business, whatever it is, will fall over because you haven't fulfilled, if you like, the law of setting up a successful business. Now, this book is called Diary of a CEO, if anyone's interested in it. It's a really good book, and it's one that I'm reading at this moment in time. So It will take you working with us about a month to set up your business. If you're doing this on your own and you don't understand what you're doing, it will take you a lot longer. Finding an investor is dependent on where you're going, where you're looking. Look a lot of the time, how much you're putting yourself out there, how many people you're telling. Getting to know them can take time. I've known investors be happy and ready to work with us from the go-get, and some take a couple of months to build up that relationship with you, to get to know you before they're actually happy to actually sit down and work with you. Finding a deal. Well, finding a deal is like something like my grandma used to say, like buses. None come, and then all of a sudden 3 turn up. And we've had that when we've sourced deals and we've been building portfolios for investors. We struggle finding anything that matches for about 2 months, and then all of a sudden 3 turn up. And that's how it can be. The one thing that sourcing is not is consistent income. You are not going to get a salary check every month. It will not happen. You are unlikely to be able to build up the size of business that will create that facility for you. I have to be honest with you about the level of sourcing. I see a lot of people on social media saying they're churning 100,000 a year, they're churning this. My comment to them would: prove it through your limited company accounts and how much you've earned from that company. Because the money that goes into that company is not all your money to spend. You will have running costs, you will have tax to pay. So it is not all of your cash. And I can tell you honestly, our sourcing company is called Sanctuary Property Sourcing. It's on Company's House. Anyone could go and check us. The best turnover that we had sourcing part-time was £71,000. That was part-time, and that was a great year. We've had years of losses where we've done nothing. And if you understand and you know my story, you'll know the story behind all of that. On average, probably 20 to 30,000, which is fine for a lot of you, but not what some of you are expecting to replace a £70,000 income. I want to keep it real for you. I want to be honest with you. Finding your deal, that can take a couple of months. You could find it in a week. There is no way of knowing. Getting the deal over the line. Now, last year I was reading a lot of reports last year, as I do every year. And I read a report where it said on average it takes 4.5 months to get a property sale over the line. Now, I know that you can do rent-to-rent deals a lot quicker than that. I get that. I don't deal with rent-to-rent. This is about a sale. So if you think about it, if a sale is going to take on average 4.5 months, and I do understand that sometimes you could have a cash investor that might decide not to do any searches or have a survey done or anything else, but I can tell you the vast majority of investors do go through all of the steps. They don't buy in a week. They just don't do it. It's going to be 4 to 4.5 months for you getting the deal over the line, and that's after you found it before you get paid. Now, when we're looking at the deal and finding the deal, there are some things for you to consider that I want to share with you this morning. How many hours of research are you going to have to do just to find and filter deals that are fit for purpose for you to go and view? It could be a lot. Then you have to arrange and go and do the viewings. A lot of them will not be fit for purpose for whatever reason. Then you have to make offers. Then you have to get the offers accepted. Then you have to hand it over the solicitors. Then you've got your delay for getting the completion. And if anything comes up on a survey or the solicitor picks anything up, there could be delays before you get paid. Honestly, hand on heart, allow yourselves a year to set up your sourcing business, get the foundations of it right. Because if you start talking to investors and they know from listening to you that you haven't got a clue what you're doing, they're going to walk away. You're going to get frustrated. It's not going to work out the way that you thought it was going to do. And you're going to kick sourcing into touch and say, this doesn't work. I know that it does, but I also know the level of work that it takes to do it. So the big question is sourcing for you? You'll notice I haven't mentioned compliance at all until now through that whole process. That is set up in your business setup and in your ongoing, which is something that you'll have to learn. It is a process to learn like any other business. Nothing good comes easy. Success is not easy. It takes focus and it takes time. How committed are you to doing this? How much do you want to do this? You have to love what you're going to do or you will not do it. If you're coming into property sourcing because you think it's a fast buck, unless you're going to royally fleece investors and then run to the hills and behave completely unprofessionally, or you're incredibly lucky and find that £100,000 deal that falls from the sky and you get a huge sourcing fee, which I can tell you rarely happens. On average, our sourcing fees are £3,000 for a buy-to-let deal. And a lot of you out there that are coming into this have never owned your own home, have never renovated a house before. And investors are looking for someone with knowledge that they can trust to pass the information on to them. So build up your knowledge, build up your skill set through understanding and gaining knowledge, but be honest with yourself about how quickly this business can be up and running and can be operating and can bring cash into the bank. That's what I want to bring to you, is some feet on planet Earth honesty. And I'm telling you, I advise people to allow yourselves a year to get everything in place, get your knowledge in place. And with knowledge in place, it gives you confidence. And when you have confidence, you go out to the market from a much, much better place. You have much better conversations with people. So that's Compliance Over Coffee this morning. I hope that was useful to you if you're in that position. We're here to chat. If you have any questions, please pop them into the comment box underneath. I'll be back with you again, as usual, for another Compliance Over Coffee next Thursday at the usual time. Our webinars are kicking in and starting this month. For those of you that aren't aware, we do free webinars that are content-driven, no sales pitch. We're changing the format slightly this year to jazz it up a bit, and the slides will be slightly different. So if you got used to watching them last year, watch again, because we're changing the topics and we're jazzing it up. There's no sales pitch to you guys. We'll probably give you a free offer for something or other during the course of the event, but nothing that will cost you anything other than an email address. So that's it for this morning. I will see you again next week. In the meantime, have a fab weekend. I hope you get a little bit of dryness where you are. Fingers crossed we will, and we can go for a walk. Bye for now.